All right, we have our new showroom here at G&G. We are so happy. Everything came together. It looks absolutely amazing. We spent a lot of time on this, a lot of after hours with, doing the walls, the ceilings, everything, us coming in, letting the workers out. Really happy with the turnout. Now that we have the whole team in here, especially the sales team, I'm gonna ask them a few questions because we've also been so busy. Thank you so much, customers. We've had tremendous last few months. As a team, we haven't really had that many meetings or outings because we've been so freaking busy. Whereas before, we had our Bayshore lunches, etc. So now we have the team together here. We're gonna, I'm gonna ask them some questions, do a little trivia, and just kind of chat it up over what's been going on the last few months. So, sales team, out of all these watches here, and now we have a great selection. I'm super happy with everything we have. What would you guys pick out to be the hardest watch to sell that we should never stock again?
That one.
I'm gonna start with Alec because his smirk looks like he already has an answer.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because honestly, I feel like I can think off the top of my head like 10 or 15 of my personal clients that I think would like it, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't been selling. And it's gonna have to be the frosted APs, unfortunately. The Chrono, we've been close on, but for whatever reason, just the white gold frosted in general, we've been selling quite a few of the rose gold frosted. That's somewhat of a popular watch, but for whatever reason, the white gold APs.
Yeah, we did sell a 37 millimeter rose gold frosted last month with the Sundust style. Really nice watch. They're just super spotty. They were valued really high, around the 200s, and they've dropped a ton. I think they're a really good value, but I think the problem is it's like a really particular client that would like such a watch because it is really flashy. Even versus like something with a full baguette bezel, it's really flashy. So we have them at a good price. Both of them nearly sold. One we even got payment, but we misplaced the card and we found it the next day, and the client freaked out, and so we had to return him his monies. But that happens. But I agree. We're gonna stay clear of the frosteds, even though we do get sold orders for frosteds. It just hasn't been the ones that we have in stock. So, Blake, you're up.
I'm gonna go with the watch I had a personal bad experience where Collab backed out on, right over to the code. Honestly, it is a watch that looks incredible, especially for the amount it costs. You're looking at a watch that's trading close to 50% off retail. It's going 50% off retail, but it is really one of the most aesthetic watches that we have. I cannot tell you the amount of clients that come in and they're just drawn into that watch and they love looking at it. In general, Code is a tough watch to sell. We have 2 of them right now. They just don't really move for us. Generally, people that want a watch of that shape wants to go Patek. They want a Patek complication. If you're looking at a watch similar to that, even though the tourbillon is more complicated, some of the Patek complications like a 5270, people would rather go with a 5270 now that they're at very cheap price points those go for 40% off retail, which is crazy for a Patek. People like going in that direction over a lot of the codes, but the codes are still great value. I think we will sell them, but they've been tough thus far.
Do you think that in upcoming years that AP is gonna keep the code, or do you think that's something that they might discontinue?
I think Code has gotten better. I think when they originally launched them, they were slower than they are now. So as long as they keep that positive progression, they are going to keep the watches. It's a very unique design, and the thing is the reason why I think it hasn't sold very well is because it doesn't photograph really well. It's a watch that you really need to see in person to appreciate the octagonal shape, and then also the way that the entire watch is like curved. It really is a watch maker's dream piece. It's a really cool piece. The construction's incredible, the engineering's incredible. So I can't really see them throwing all of that R&D in the garbage. I really hope it picks up and continues upwards.
Some of the newer codes are 40 millimeter, they're a little bit thinner, so I think that's the direction they should have gone in the beginning. I think that was kind of like their Achilles heel on some of these, is 42 millimeters and they're very thick. Where you look at a Calatrava, other dress watches that are 40 millimeters and thin, that slides nice under the suit. So I think that's the area.
100%. If you look at the best-selling code right now, it really is either the ones that are super cheap or the perpetual calendar. And the perpetual calendar is significantly more thin than the Turp. I actually wore a perpetual calendar for a couple days, And it's genuinely one of my favorite watches. It's super aesthetic. So they come out with some other options for that piece. I think it would be a great seller. But I agree with you 100%.
I also think part of the reason why it's such a tough watch is their price that they have at the AD. Like that's their entry watch and it's well over 30K, which I think is a little bit tough for a lot of people. And also talk about this quite a bit is that you get this and then you're trying to obviously work your way up to a Royal Oak and then you're getting the offshore and then you're kind of just losing all that money. So for the average Joe, that's a tough sequence to go through and just in hopes just to get a Royal Oak.
Yeah, the numbers just don't make sense anymore. Now, if the market goes back up, if someone puts the effort in, maybe they're down 10K or they've broken even, and the market goes back up to the crazy prices it was, or even close to that, then it makes sense. But if it never does, I mean, you're spending a lot of time, you're going into boutique a lot, you're just to break even or even lose money when you can have your Royal Oak instantly. And some of the Royal Oaks aren't even going that far above retail right now. So it's just like, why wait? Doesn't make sense. Jackie, what would you say is the hardest watch to sell?
Clearly those options were the right ones for these gentlemen. I think that because I've been here for the shortest amount of time, what I've seen that we sell a lot of and that comes in and out is like a lot of the Nautilus and things like that. RMs as well and the APs, but definitely this Artisan de Genève Andrea Perlo collab, that is something that I know has been extremely difficult for us to move because people just don't understand it. I think it's a superb watch. Aesthetically, it's so pleasing. It has an easy wear, like you can wear this and like real watch people, especially watchmakers or people who are kind of like into that engineering kind of mind frame, I think can understand and appreciate something like that. But I would say probably that would be something that I would say we should buy more of. I believe it was a special order and then something happened with that deal. So I know it's not typically what we stock, but I would say if we had to choose more, not those.
Thinking about it, I think I sold it in the middle of the night. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and work and I just now remembered I think I sold it.
Last night?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome.
I was gonna maybe take that.
All right, hopefully now we manifested the sale of the
I have like my
Boston and
2:30 to 4:30 where I work because I fall asleep early watching TV with my daughter. So yeah, yeah. The Artisan de Genèves are such amazing watches. We have a few clients that are very keen on them, and they're very very hard to find. So I thought maybe stocking one of them it would be a nice mover because we stocked it at a fair price, but they're very tough. But on sold orders, it's a great watch because there's not many of them out there, and you can have decent margin in them for sure.
I think the thing is with that watch, you're looking at a watch that is very niche, and within that niche brand, the one that people generally want are the Daytona editions.
Yeah, Montoyas.
So like the Montoyas, the Baricellos.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the Spike Lee edition, and we've sold a lot of those. So when you try and go like within the niche brand, and you're not even looking at like the most desirable collector's line within that brand, like the Submariner line, it just becomes a bit tougher. That's why I think it hasn't moved, but price makes sense on that watch, and it really is aesthetically pleasing and beautiful.
Yeah, it has a lot of open space in the dial.
It is one of those things that I think people are more drawn when they see it in person. And a lot of these pieces that you really need to like see the watch in person is where it's tougher for us to sell because generally a lot of our business is online. But now that we have this beautiful showroom, we're gonna start hosting more clients. I think that a lot of these watches that we see being a bit slower could actually pick up for us.
100%. Yeah. Because the code, like you said, every time everyone sees the Aberturine dial on the turf code, they're always drawn to it. It's a catchy watch. But if you just look at it online, you're kind of like, meh.
But it's also the same to be said about the Bubba, right? Because there's a lot less of the black Bubba, but for whatever reason, the white one seems to be the more one that people go to ask for because it's the more poppy color one. But in reality, the black Bubba is the more limited one. It's special. It's only 50 pieces made.
Sure.
But people automatically kind of go to that more poppy one.
Yeah.
Because
I think there's a lot of consumers out there that don't even know that there is a black Bubba. They're so drawn on the
right.
There's no white. I think on all the tough watches to sell, we will still stock them, but obviously we're going to be stocking them at different prices, knowing that there's a longer timeline for them to sell, so we're going to have to factor that in. So our core pieces that we buy and sell very, very well are Richard Milles, Patek's, and just some base APs, obviously some base Rolex. Now let's go into watches that sell very, very well, and that's our bread and butter.
One watch I think that we sell very, very well, and we have sold very well, better than I think, and this is honestly not going to be one of the ones that I think a lot of you guys will pick. I'm going to go with the 5168. I think we have sold a ton of 5168s in both the blue and the green. A lot of our clients like it just because it is a Patek that, number one, you're talking about an aquanaut that the more expensive version does add a lot of value. Relative to retail price and relative to the price of 5167, it just makes sense. You're looking at a retail that is right around 80 grand and you're buying a beautiful aquanaut for basically under retail. And when you look at the steel one's pushing 60 grand and the retail of that watch is 25. So I think for a lot of our clients that do want to get a starter Patek that obviously is within one of the sport lines, not a premium, it should be a premium, the 5168 is a great option and we have sold tons of them.
I'm still kind of thinking about it. I'll branch off and go into RM, and I think the RM we sell the most of and we've done the best with is the 6701 titanium. I feel like anytime we get that watch, it's in store for maybe tops 1 or 2 days. And I feel like for whatever reason, it's been like a very scarce watch. Retail price has gone up. We've had a few sold orders and it's been very, very difficult to find. Just based off of calls in terms of RMs, I get most calls on that one and the Fleet Massa. And I feel like we've sold those the best and the most.
In reference to that watch, but I tell a lot of our clients, a lot of the people that are warming up to RM, they're coming from brands like AP and Patek. They don't want the bigger, bulkier RMs if they're coming from that brand and they have that type of background. They really want the smaller ones. When you look at the modern RMs that are in production, you only have 2 smaller lines. I mean, you have the 7201 and you have the 6701. Really, those are your only options for something that's a bit slimmer. Not only are they your only options, but retail price is being raised by 10 to 15% annually. They only make few of them. I mean, the whole brand makes 6,000 watches. So it's a great investment piece and it's a very safe buy. When you see all the new demand only being forwarded into 2 different watch lines within the brand and the retail's going up, it's a very safe piece for anyone to really enter into. And that's why I think they move so fast. People love them and they're a great buy financially.
In the last, I would say 4 months, the one watch that has gone up in the market is the 6701 titanium in rose. I don't think there's any watch that has gone up that much. I mean, we saw them going for around 150 and now like all the way down to 150 on the titanium, and now they're back up to selling for 180. You can't say that with any other watch that's gone up that much. So I think Blake's correct with them raising retail, everyone and now starting to get into RM. That's like their starter watch. They don't make many of them. There's probably only one time of the year where they dump a lot of them out. So that's why those are shooting up. So I'm gonna go with a watch that I probably wouldn't have gone with a while ago. We've been selling so many of them. And now that we also are doing vintage and have a lot of vintage clients, I think I was such an RM guy, I still am an RM guy, but we've sold so many 5711s and that watch is just absolute class. It's just stunning on the wrist. They have it in the new movement and the old movement. We have a lot of clients that have been buying the new movement, which they really only made for 2 years with the 330 movement. And we get a request on that like at least once or twice a month. We're also selling it wholesale. We've been selling the watch so well that I've really gotten into the Tiffany stamps thanks to some of our clients that have requested them. And I just stocked a 330 movement with the Tiffany stamp. Blake and I were talking about it the other day because there's only like 6 stores in the US, probably a few others around the world. Our numbers were around like what, 60 ever made or something?
No, I thought less. I genuinely don't think there's probably more than 36 to 40 of the Tiffany with a 330 movement in existence. I think that for the green dial, there's only 6 of them in the world with the green 5711 with Tiffany stamp.
Yeah, Roman Sharp was saying that.
I cannot see there being more than 36 to 40 of them. Honestly, Patek is that brand where clients are so nuanced. Nuanced carries such a high premium for the most devout Patek collector. So that's a piece that could be $500,000 one day. I'm
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Easily. I mean, they made way less of it than they did the green dial, and the green dials are, low 200s at the moment, which is around where this is. Even though the paddocks are at, a higher price point than, let's say, a 16202 or even a 15510 or a Daytona, you would think, oh, well, this is going to be a tougher watch to sell. Not the case. I mean, we sell them so well.
All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.